It's 8 o'clock now, Kenyan time. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday evening. It's on a special edition of Mwango Spaces, and we're really honored and privileged to have FXPesa. We're partnering with them this week to do a light introduction to online trading in Kenya and share just a little bit of advice on how you can go about getting started. So I hope you have a lot of questions for our co-host here today. I'll start off maybe by asking Brian to introduce himself and to just say what he does, and then we'll get started quickly.
Hey, Eric. Hey, guys. Well, first of all, thank you so much for giving up some of your evening to listen to me waffle on and talk about all these things that I'm so passionate about. I'm Brian Myers. I'm the CEO of Equity Brokerage. I've been also dealing a lot with equity in Africa. For the last 3 years, I've been coming to Kenya. I'm in Nairobi now, actually, enjoying the weather. I've been coming in for 3 years. I'm a director of EGM Securities. I also do a lot in Middle East, in Latin America. And we're a large brand. Equity is a large brokerage with a foothold in a lot of the regions across the world. Prior to that, I've been a group CEO at another brokerage called GKFX. Before that, I worked on Wall Street, worked in the States, lived in Canada for a while. And in between all of those things, I worked in the City of London for a few other brokers as well. So yeah, I've been around. I've been fortunate. I've dealt with millions of clients. I've dealt with banks. I've seen trading and investment from all angles. I like to think I'm in a position to maybe help people learn from some of the mistakes that I've seen other people make and that I've made myself over the years. Thank you for having me, Eric.
All right, Bernard, you can say hi and introduce yourself and what you do at FXPesa.
Hello, good evening to all. My name is Bernard. Currently, I am the head of business development here at EGM Securities FXPesa. Been in this interesting field for quite a while, averagely around 5 years, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Eric, for this platform. You can take it away.
All right, Bernard, we'll come back to you a bit later. Brian, what is FXPesa and what's the link between equity, EGM, FXPesa, and all this? Like, give us a beginner's guide to the structure of the company, where they're based, and what each part of the company does.
Let's go back a bit. Equity in itself is a very large brokerage with hundreds of employees all over the world. As I said, States, Latin America, Europe, in Armenia, New Zealand. We're all over the world. Huge. And what we saw 3 years, late 2022, 3.5, 4 years ago, was that there was a gap in Kenya where a lot of Kenyans want to trade, have traded before, but they've been taken by unscrupulous players. A lot of the people in Kenya, they were sending their money to brokerages that were telling them they were going to trade on their behalf or whatever they were doing, and then they were taking their money and they were running away. And I think a lot of people on this chat either were involved in that or your parents were probably involved in that. These were big scams. Part of what we do is that we make sure that we legitimize and make safe an environment for everyone to have access to global markets. And that's when we came with EGM Securities in 2018. EGM Securities, we worked very, very hard to establish the license. We worked with the regulator in the UK and the regulator here to offer a regulated environment so your funds are safe when you send them. You've got protection under client money rules. You've got protection under many rules to make sure that everyone could invest for their financial futures under that umbrella. And then when we launched it as EGM Securities, we realized that very quickly we had kind of two main customers. We had institutional clients, which we would call B2B clients. So people like Genghis Capital and Sterling Capital and all of these guys use us for their FX and CFD trading for their clients as well. And then we have hundreds of thousands of Kenyans that come to us for education that we put under a product called FXPesa. And FXPesa was born shortly after EGM Securities. So that's how you look at it. You look at equity being the parent, EGM is the license in Kenya, and FXPesa, the majority of people here will know us as FXPesa and will be using us for our platform, for our education, for the fantastic customer service we have, and for all the products that we offer under FXPesa.
So 2 quick questions. Perhaps for a beginner, what exactly do brokers do? And for someone who's new, they would be maybe dealing with Genghis Capital and these kind of companies, but then they also have to deal with you at some point. So then like what services do you offer to these other guys? And I think this was a surprise when you were having the pre-spaces chat that these are actually some of your clients. So in that sense, then can you give someone who's new to trading to investing, what exactly a broker does. Why can't I go directly and buy the shares of, say, Safaricom, or directly buy the shares of maybe Apple in the US? And why do I need a broker?
The brokerage, we offer the technology. That's what we do. We're a technology provider. We're a fintech company. And we offer the technology. We offer our trading platforms. We offer third-party trading platforms. I think that most people will know MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5. And we service the liquidity. I don't want to get too technical, but we connect to banks. We connect to people like BNP Paribas and other banks to get the liquidity for the products that people want to offer. So whether that be euro, dollar, sterling, gold, Apple shares, as you say, Tesla, Zoom. Do you want single stock futures like Safaricom, British American Tobacco, equity? What we realized when we came is that the choice of broker in Kenya was very, very limited. So the majority of people in Kenya, so they were trading local equities plus bonds. And most people, Safaricom and some kind of fund or latest bonds, and that was it. And that not being able to diversify or be multi-asset or be multi-regional is always going to hold you back in obtaining the returns that you need to be financially free in later life. Because you're always going to be dictated to by the economy in the region that you're trading. And the proof was in the pudding, right? When we saw coronavirus hit, the stock markets across Africa and the NSE didn't pick up anywhere near as quick or at a level that the NASDAQ, for example, did in the US. So a broker gives you the access to all of these markets under a regulated environment. And it's no small task. We've got, as I said, hundreds of employees, and all we do all day is service the needs of the people that trade with us. So in my opinion, of course, you need a broker if you want to have access to these markets. You want a regulated broker so that it's safe. You don't want to go with unregulated brokers. We can get more in details into that. So pick your broker carefully, make sure you trust them. Make sure they're here for you. Make sure they're educating you. Make sure that there's no conflict of interest and they've got your best intentions at heart, and then go ahead.
Also, importantly, also it's good to remind people that you can actually switch brokers also. So sometimes you open with one and then you're not satisfied with the service, and then you stick to that the long term. A little bit of that lethargy in terms of moving, right? You can move brokers.
They're the saying, okay, that you're more likely to get divorced than you are to leave your bank. Which is true. Once you join a bank or whatever it is, for whatever reason, you then stop looking at other banks. We're very confident that we're giving the best service in the market. We're market leaders by far, by miles and miles. We've been here the longest, and we'll continue to be that. And we pride ourselves on the innovation and how we treat our clients. But of course, have choice. You have options, and we welcome that. When we came here a couple of years ago, when we started, we said the financial literacy revolution. Part of that is to have choice. You've got choice of education. You've got choice of brokerage. We want people to have that choice. We want the industry to grow. We want there to be more local jobs in Kenya. That's part of this revolution that we've started. So for sure you've got choice. For sure you've got access, and you can do your own research, and always make sure you do that before you ever proceed with a brokerage.
I want to tie two questions together. So one is, what exactly does FXPesa offer as a broker that is maybe distinguishes you from other brokers? And then the confidence with which you're saying that you want people to have choice, it means that you really have something that you provide which you feel like is very unique in the market. So maybe you can describe to someone who's new to investing, like what exactly do you provide and what kind of assets are available when investing through your platform?
Yeah. So let's break that down into two parts. You're talking about the instruments and the assets, and you're talking about what makes us different. On the asset side, we're truly multi-asset. So a lot of the other brokerages won't be multi-asset. We were the first multi-asset brokerage in Kenya. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we offer ETF CFDs, we offer shares, we offer indices, so the S&P 500, the DAX, FTSE 100 in the UK, a huge FX offering, euro, dollar, major miners, gold, silver, oil, WTI, Brent. We offer all of these things and single stock futures as well in the NSE. We were the first people to bring single stock futures to enable you to trade on, I think, the top 7 by volume NSE stocks, and also a mini lot. So you can actually trade the index, the NSE 25 index. We're consistently adding to our product offering. There's some new, really exciting stuff coming actually very, very soon. So we're truly multi-asset. For me personally, I have a portfolio where I look long-term, I look short-term. We make sure that you've got plenty of options in what you want to do. And the differentiator for us really comes around the education piece. I can't tell you how proud I am of the team when I'm over in Nairobi this week. I mean, when I go out on the floor, is just electric of people that know that we're here. We've got such a sense of purpose and meaning at FXPesa. Socially, it's a big thing that we've accepted this responsibility. We want to educate millions of Kenyans with hundreds of thousands already. We want millions of Kenyans to be financially literate in the coming years. And the education, we're just relentless in the education we do and the customer service. And we educate and we invest locally, right? So a lot of our competitors, my peers, a lot of the guys that actually work at the peers, they've worked for me for many years. So I know them very well from previous brokerages. A lot of those guys, they set up kind of lean operations outside of Kenya, and then they sell into Kenya from outside or whatever it may be. We're different because we commit to we're a global broker, but we want to be local. And we want to make sure that if you want to come to a workshop in Nairobi or Nakuru or Thika or Kettering, and we've got a couple of new offices that are coming as well very, very soon, we're going to be there for you. We're there long term to educate. We're 4 years here already. We're going to be here for decades. We want to educate, and this is where we see the real difference. We're really here to try and make an impact on culture and an impact on financial.
So a key aspect of it, as you say, is education. So that's one touch point someone can have with you. So you have a lot of trainings on the investing, and I think we'll partner on some of this in the near future. And then the other touch point is someone can come and actually use your platform to invest in all these asset classes that you offer on the platform. What's the onboarding process look like? Maybe for me who wants to start.
The simple thing to do is to text global, or one word, to 40184. And then that literally in front of your eyes will take you through the onboarding process. But in short, we onboard people within minutes. So within minutes now, fully integrated with M-Pesa, instant deposits. You can come to us, use our demo platform, understand what you're doing in a safer environment, in commerce, fantasy money, get your strategies, get your understanding of the platforms that we offer. And then within minutes, you can open up an account with us and you can be putting a trade on with instantaneous payments through M-Pesa. And you've got that as a web trader. There's a couple of mobile apps that we offer. So it's choice. I was having this conversation the other day. What Kenyans needed a few years ago was that choice, and they needed ease of access to multi-asset and multi-regional market. That was our niche. That's what we've come in, and that's what we've created.
Great. So what's the uptake like being of online trading in Kenya and globally? And I know in the past 2 or 3 years, there's been a huge upsurge in the usage of online platforms for trading. And that was gave way to these meme stocks and stonks. From where you sit, and you've been in the market quite a while, you've worked in various platforms. What are the kind of trends that you've seen, and how do you see that in Kenya, and where are we in Kenya in that global trends that you're seeing?
Never in my career have I seen anywhere near the amount of interest in trading as I have in the last 18 months. It is phenomenal. It's a fantastic thing, but it needs to be nurtured. There's rumors that there's been globally 20 to 25 million people in the last 12 months. And I say rumors because if you're not a public company, people don't normally declare their actual numbers, but there's somewhere in the region of 20 to 25 million people that have traded for the first time in the last 12 months. My hope is that the majority of those are going to stay and have patience for trading for the long term. Because what I think unfortunately is going to happen is that a big percentage of those 20, 25 million people that have come and traded, they would have had a very leveraged trade in something that they didn't understand because of FOMO or because of someone on their street corner told them that they were going to make 100% return in 2 weeks. Or, these kind of things are prevalent at the minute because of the rise of crypto and the rise of these big swings in asset classes. So I talk about this a lot. When you first start trading, you're going to make some mistakes, but make your own mistakes, because then you learn from those, right? And if you come to trading for the first time, the biggest shame is going to be that you did a trade in something to do with NFTs or the multiverse or, the latest fad term, really didn't understand. Did you really understand the reason why you invested in Shiba Inu coin? Did you truly understand why you invested in GameStop? Now, if you did, fantastic. Learn and you got involved in it and it was fun and made money, maybe you didn't, but you learned. If you got involved in any of those things and you didn't understand why you didn't and you lost money, one of two things are going to happen. And in both situations, you're going to ultimately end up losing even more. You're going to have invested and made money, and then you can think, fantastic, this is easy. Why didn't I invest more? And the next time you're going to keep investing more and more and more until, again, you're not learning anything and you blow your account, or you're going to lose. And that's the real shame. That's where a lot of these millions of people, the markets have gone only one way for a long period of time. So a lot of investments into shares, and I buy shares quite heavily. A lot of investments in shares have been trending one way for a long period of time. And obviously what's happened with inflation and the Russian-Ukraine crisis is that for the first time, people are understanding actually markets go both ways. They don't always trend the same way. And in those environments, people now are going, okay, this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And what are they going to do next? Right? You need access to get into products that allows them to make money when the markets go down as well as up. Again, that's something we do at FXPesa. So, for example, let's take the social impact of wars. We're talking from just a trading perspective. When something happens like this Russian-Ukrainian conflict, invariably a trader is going to say, right, I want to go long gold. Actually, people are going to be risk off stocks. So I want to sell stocks, sell indices. And what's going to happen with crypto is Bitcoin a storeholder value or not. We'll be monitoring Bitcoin. That's kind of like what an experienced trader that's been trading for many years, that's kind of how they would feel. Now, I wouldn't panic sell my Apple stocks or my Tesla stocks. What I would do is keep those long term, and I might short them down during this conflict so that you hedge your own position and you can make money going up or going down. And it's kind of, whilst that may sound sophisticated to some and a no-brainer to others, these kind of concepts that we talk about FXPesa with our clients a lot and that we want more and more Kenyans to understand and trade like these kind of moves. And it's when you start doing this that nothing like these things kind of phase you in your journey towards financial freedom.
All right. There was some lag a little bit towards the end. So a key thing that when you did the pre-space chat is you emphasize a lot understanding the trades that you're doing and not just following the crowd. And then also the second thing, being reflective about the trades that you're making. So know where you went wrong and at least be able to pick lessons, because then you become a more reflective trader, you become a better trader as you continue to do this. So you just don't want people to come and trade. You just want to people come, learn, trade, and then, of course, trade, learn again, trade, learn, and keep going. So it's like a cycle and continue building a portfolio.
Repetition is the path to mastery, right? So no matter how old you are, surely your gut tells you that anything worth doing isn't easy. And that's always been the case for me. Anything that's worth doing isn't easy. And trust me, from what I've seen, as I said, I've seen millions and millions of people trading, unfortunately, from all different walks of life, from all different regions. A mistake is to think that you're just going to do a couple of trades in the first week or 2 weeks of trading and that's it, you're going to retire. Like anything, it takes patience, it takes education, it takes learning. And if you stick with it, some of the data that we look at, 80% of people that trade for longer than 4 years, they say they're consistently profitable. Now, what's that telling you? That's telling you the ones that stick with it, and I can definitely vouch for this for myself, the ones that stick with it and learn from their mistakes and keep going, they're the ones that are going to be ultimately profitable and ultimately, find their way to wealth in later life. I think we're very different to a lot of other people that you would speak to. That the only people that get rich off of get rich quick schemes are the ones that are selling it. So, sense check your gut. If you're listening to influencers, if you're listening to people screaming at you that you're going to make 600% return in 4 hours, these kind of things that's happening, you listen to your gut. That's not true. That's not going to happen. Ultimately it's going to work out very bad for you. What's going to work out well? Educate yourself. Get learnings from people like FXPesa. Use the demo. Use your own trading guides. Learn from your mistakes. Look at multi-asset. Trade gold. Start to understand what impacts gold, what impacts oil, what impacts FX. Get into the community. Speak to each other. Talk within your community to other like-minded people. This is the path to financial freedom. This is the path to wealth. The people that take that path, the ones that are going to be laughing in later.
Great. That's the essence of it. You're capturing it well. It's the essence of understand what you're doing, learn, keep doing it, and of course, learn from the mistakes. Warren Buffett says this well. It's not like 10 over 10 in terms of all the trades that he makes money from. But at least if you make sure that you have more wins than losses, then you're kind of okay in that regard then. So a quick question to you then is about opportunities existing within the global markets, and then you compare them to local markets. So through FXPesa differently, you have access to all these global opportunities. So which can you map for us some of the opportunities that exist in the market for a new investor?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing is to kind of look at the data, right? So the position that I'm in, obviously I traded advice. And like I just said, be very wary of people that do give you trading advice. Always look into their past. Do they actually know what they're talking about? Or did they start trading some dodgy crypto coins 2 months earlier, right? So, but what I can data. And if you follow me on Twitter, hopefully some of you guys do, Brian_equity, you'll see that I'm regularly putting out kind of what I see as opportunity, what our clients are trading. Even today, I looked at what our Kenyan clients are trading. Now, Kenyans love trading gold. Gold. Our clients are trading gold. They're getting very, very good at it. They're understanding it. They do the gold. Everyone said that gold had its day as a safe haven. Well, no, our traders disagreed. Majority of them going long on gold during the Russian conflict. You've got a lot of our traders trading, and oil now through $100 a barrel. It broke that. Obviously, oil was due to supply and demand, particularly because of the Russian oil fields. Made sense to our traders. Let's look at oil. As I said, we're a global company, and oil, as you can imagine, is very heavily traded in the Middle East. We've got a huge amount of clients in the Middle East. But then you can look at, which is great to see at FXPesa, you can see just how diverse our clients are getting now. So beforehand, where it might just be euro dollar and people are trading FX, you can see the top traded instruments are gold, and it's euro dollar, it's cable, it's the top FX pairs. They love trading those, and they know that very well. And a lot of our traders are big into technical analysis. But then you can see the indices are coming through as well. You can see that they're trading some of the stock indices, and that's great to see, because what they determine is that some of them are taking the opinion that in a risk-off environment that we're in now, stocks will come off, which means, of course, that the indices will come off. You can't always say that, because the stocks that weight the indices differently, but most stocks have been impacted this year. Myself, again, this is investment advice. I see any dip in some of the blue chip stocks and index ETFs. I see that as a buying opportunity, because I think long term. So a lot of our traders are thinking like that and looking at that. And that's what Kenyans are looking at now. They are certainly trading these products more than they're trading NFT stocks with us by a considerable margin. And they're really focusing on stuff. They're not spreading themselves too thin. They're understanding gold, they're understanding oil, and they're sticking with that. And they're trading those in the ranges that they like. And it's really fantastic to see. I love it. When I compare it now to a couple of years ago, and I can see that our clients are really getting a diverse portfolio of things that they're buying through the week.
Good stuff. Another quick question. I was well informed that you're present in various cities in the country. So maybe you can map for us where you are at in Kenya. And also, you're very keen on financial literacy. So maybe you can tell us some of the initiatives that you're taking to make sure that people are as informed traders as best as they can be in that area as they start trading.
Yeah, parts of your question there are completely interrelated, because the reason why we're in the region is because of financial literacy. So yeah, I've hit the road, gone to Nakuru and Thika and Kitengela. I've spent a lot of time in Nairobi. I'm in our office now in Westlands in Nairobi. I absolutely love Kenya. I love Kenyans. They're always made to feel so welcome. A lot of my global team are here with me now, or they've been here before, and Kenyan hospitality is legendary in our company, and it's legendary all over the world. I've got some of the team on the call now. What the team does here, again, is a differentiator for us. They give up their nights to help out with things like this. They give up their weekends. They're doing all of this because they really believe in improving financial literacy. Let's talk about financial literacy. What does financial literacy mean? If you look it up in a dictionary, it will say something like understanding essential financial concepts in saving, investing, borrowing, right? In 2019, the S&P, they went around the world and they asked very basic questions around things like diversification, risk, etc. They went to these regions and they said that, what do you ask questions like, do you understand mortgage repayments? Do you understand the interest that you've got to pay on cards? And when they asked these questions to European countries, the people were 75% literate. Now, when they went to Kenya, it was 38%, Tanzania, 40%, South Africa, 42%, Nigeria, 26%. So I looked at it and I thought that, coupled with the fact that some of the stats tell us that 70% of Kenyans are going to enter their retirement with less than $10,000, $1 million shilling. 80% of people that enter their retirement are looking at the poverty line. So it's all interrelated. And this is where the team are just so motivated, and there's so much meaning to what they do, and they give up so much to be able to they're giving so much to this cause, because we're not going to improve these rates. We're not going to improve the amount of people that get out of the poverty line until people can start having the conversations like us that are having now. Everyone that's on this call, you're already leagues in front of a lot of the other people that are around you. You're interested in it. You're learning about it. You're trying to find education. A lot of you are probably in the industry or around the industry, but there are people out there, unfortunately, that aren't looking at this stuff, have never been taught it. They've never been taught it in school. They've never been taught it at university. So where do they go? We know that in sub-Saharan Africa, there's going to be, by 2025, there's going to be 614 million unique mobile users. So it's a perfect storm for people like us at FXPesa to say that this big social problem, and Alan Greenspan, the ex-US Fed chair, he said that it's the number one problem in the generation state, the lack of financial literacy. So there's this massive, massive problem that's affecting people right the way through their lives. There's a lack of education, but there's 600 million people that have mobile phones in their hand. And that's where we come in. That's where Mwango, you guys come, Mwango Capital comes in. That's where we're all together. We're all one community. We're all doing our very, very best to get in front of people's eyeballs on their mobile phone, to give them the education to make a real change in this and to improve this financial literacy. Some of the other stuff that we did at the beginning of last year, my team around me, they went on a virtual roadshow with me every weekend, practically every weekend for weeks. We went and spoke to the University of Nairobi. We went and spoke to Strathmore University. We went and spoke to lots of universities in Kenya to speak to the young. And they were so grateful. They had their eyes wide open. They said that they haven't heard this stuff before, but just so interested with this as well. And it was so amazing to see people that wanted to make a change, knew that there was an issue here and was seeking out this education for themselves. It was fantastic. And it tells me that we're at a great point in time when we're all going to make a huge impact and difference in Kenya over the next 5 years.
Great. At this point, I should let the audience know that you can't send in questions. I can see a few questions that are coming in. So I will keep going for another 10 minutes. But in the meantime, I'm also looking around for questions if you have any that regards trading, investing, and long-term thinking. And he's very passionate about making sure that you're as informed as you can be. He can't give you advice on individual trades, but he can generally guide you on what to do in the markets, like in terms of being aware of what you're doing and knowing at least the kind of instruments that you're trading at the end of the day. If you're going to engage in crypto, just be aware of what exactly you're going to do at the end of the day. If you're going to trade in CFDs or in indices, it's the information that is actually more important than just the trading itself. So if you know what you're doing, at least then when you make a mistake, you can reflectively say that I made a mistake there because of 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that's what Brian is emphasizing today. Perhaps as we wait for some more audience questions, Brian, maybe you can tell us what challenges you've seen Kenyan traders face, and especially also how you deal with the issue of the currencies moving against you. If I'm going to buy Apple shares and then the currency moves against me because of volatility maybe of the local exchange, how that works out as I trade maybe on FX.
People are going to face, it's definitely going to be one of trust. I think everyone in Kenya, as I said at the beginning, I think everyone's probably, unfortunately, knows of someone that's been burnt by a scam. There's a lot of scams around cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of people selling get-rich-quick schemes. There's a lot of unscrupulous players that are promising you huge returns. It's very, very noisy out there. It's really noisy. And that's where the importance of having a regulated broker comes into play. You've got to strip out the noise and you've got to kind of get rid of all of these things that are just consistently coming in your ears about someone over here did this and someone did that. It's just noise and you need to strip it out as much as possible. So when you do that, again, the trust comes in. Are you with a broker that you trust? Now, why the regulation is important is that we have something called client money rules. So whenever you send your funds to us as a broker, we can't use your funds for operations, right? We segregate it into a different bank account. So at that point, with other brokers that aren't regulated, the moment you send them funds, there is no law that stops them or no repercussions for them to use your own money to go and buy whatever they want to buy. A car, pay for staff, pay for food, whatever they want to do. And that's just one reason that people don't really talk about or understand and why you have to trade with the broker that you trust. So that's the first thing you strip through. The second thing that most people are looking for is on price. So you're looking at your all-in cost. Are you getting value for what you're paying for? Are you with a broker that's giving you X spreads or whatever they're charging you? For that, you're getting great customer service. Can you speak to people whenever you need them? Are they helping you 24/5? Now, we've got an exceptionally good customer service team at FXPesa. I'm very proud of those guys. They're there for you whenever you need them. Local Kenyans that are here for you. And we've also got a global team that supports that as well. You're looking for, so has it got good customer service? Has it got good education? Can you go to workshops? Can you go to seminars? These are the things that most people are looking at before they go and trade. That's on the broker side. Then when you're looking at yourself, what is it you want to trade? You want to look at being diverse. You want to practice on demo as well, your trading strategy. You want to understand, so what leverage you want to use, if you're using stop losses, take profit. Most of the successful traders that I've seen would always have these kind of things when they're in their trading artillery, would always be using these things. So I think that collecting thing and then having the ability to make money when the market's up or the market's down, not allowing it way, consistently reading. I'm always, one of the most frequent questions I'm asked on Twitter is, what are the best books to read? Or where's the best places to get your education? I'd probably read. In my lifetime, as I said, it's my passion. Let's say 10,000 hours of financial literature. Of that, I'd say 1,000 hours interesting, and the rest of it was noise. I'd say 10 hours of very interesting, and I'd say 1 hour of it was critical. And the 1 hour critical stuff is the stuff that we took in the literacy webinar that we did, the FXPesa. And that's teaching people to understand things like using the stop loss and take profit, understanding the power of compound interest. I always go over some of the mistakes that I made when I was younger. And to give you an example of some of those mistakes, I think probably about 12 years ago, I was sitting there one day and I just realized that Kenyans never believe me when I say this, but our interest rates in our banks are about 0.1%. I was working extremely hard. I was working in the city of London, working crazy hours to make my money. And then I was giving all of my money to a bank, and then my bank was giving me 0.1% back. And they were using all of my money to go and buy instruments that yet 20, 30 years ago, maybe the average person on the street couldn't have access to, but now we can. So they would go and buy an ETF. Now, a US ETF, exchange traded fund, will return you something like 14% per year on average. So I'm working Real Godsend. I'm giving all of my money to a bank. They're buying an ETF and 14%, and they're giving me 0.1%. So I've realized that that's never going to work for me. You're never going to earn your way unless you're very, very blessed and you're an exceptionally good football player or you're a famous musician or whatever it is, and good luck to you. But for the other 99.9% of us, you're not going to earn your way to financial freedom. You're not going to earn your way to wealth. As you get older, because you'll do well in your career, you're getting promoted, your lifestyle comes with you. You may be blessed that you've got a house, you've got one child, another child, as your life goes on, expenses get more and more and more. And we all know that on this chat, right? We all know that. You just feel like no matter what money you make, for whatever reason, it's not enough to do with your lifestyle. And that's why once I realized this, I lived by the mantra that I was going to save, I was going to understand, I was going to invest, and I was going to be patient. Those four. And you'll hear me talk about it very, very often on Twitter, all the time. Repetition is the key to mastery. You have to save, you have to learn, you have to invest, and then be patient. Now, if we break those down, the hardest bit is the bit where you have to look within yourself and you have to do it yourself, is the save part, right? In Kenya, I understand people have told me, Brian, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I listen and I say, guys, what can I do? You've got to do it within yourself. So whether it's a side hustle, whether it's looking at your lifestyle a bit different, whatever it may be, somehow, if you want to make a difference in your future, you've got to save the money. You need the money to be able to invest. Secondly, learn. Notice I'm saying save, learn. I'm not saying save and follow. I don't save money and then go and just follow someone blindly, right? I'm sure unfortunately, I would probably have a lot more followers and a lot more listeners if I was consistently saying, I'm going to go short at 1903 on gold. But no one's learning from that, right? I'm learning myself. I know what I want to do with my trading. I'm saving it, I'm learning. Then I invest. When I'm ready, when I want to make a move, I invest. And I'd be making moves at the minute because the environment's giving me opportunities to make moves. There's loads of opportunities in the market. So many opportunities. So I'm investing and patient. And what I mean by being patient is a real tough one. Patient is patience with yourself and your investments, right? So you're going to make mistakes. You're going to lose some money. Deal with it. It's going to happen. It's happened to me many, many times, particularly when I first started out. But I was patient, I learned, and then now I would consider myself a decent investor, a decent trader, someone that's made some really, really good moves over the last kind of 10 years. And I've invested for myself and my family's financial future. So yeah, that's the mantra. And these are the mistakes that I made when I was younger. I've made the same mistake that everyone makes. I went for the big ticket trades where I thought I was going to retire in 24 hours. I over leveraged myself. These are the things. And no, I didn't. And don't believe anyone that told you they did, because if anyone made 2,000% last week, do you think they're going to take their time to get on Instagram and show you a picture of them draped over a Lamborghini, right? That's not what those guys are doing. They're the guys that are trying to scam you. So, be careful who you listen to, and, do your own research and learn, save, learn, invest, and be patient.
Perfect. I mean, I couldn't say more. I would say like one mistake I made myself at the very beginning is that lack of patience. I remember buying Safaricom at 5 shillings and watch it go down to 2.5, and then I sold at 2.5, so I made a 50% loss. And then now you know where it is with all the dividends, and I could have retired by now, but apparently not. So I think those are the kind of lessons. As you say, like it's save, learn, and all this is like be patient with yourself. Definitely saving is very key. I think every sort of income that comes in, no matter how little it is, you need to set aside and just say like 10% is dedicated towards saving, because there's no way you're going to build a portfolio without a bit of savings. And of course, learn, try out, invest stuff, and of course, like try out, make mistakes. In the process, you learn and grow, and then you keep becoming a better investor as you go on. So I think that's very important to say.
Anyone that's in this space, only the liars would say that they don't have that same experience. Buying at 5, panicking, selling at 2.5, and then it just flew up and they got it all wrong. They bought at a high, they sold it.
Yep.
Everyone's got that story. The difference is who then stuck with it. Who learned from that and said, I should have had a bit more patience with that. Who learned?
Definitely. Especially so as I look at my investing career, I see like the more I've been investing and trading with time, the more patient I am with myself. Like now I'm like, okay, it's gone down 10%. I'll just leave it there. I have a conviction in that trade and I'll keep it as it is. I think that's important as we go.
Exactly. Because you've seen so much, right? That's what comes with experience, patience. Like when this has happened with the market with Russia, last year on the S&P 500, and another mistake that people make is that everyone said, I'm not going to get involved in these markets in the US economy because they were all-time highs. The S&P 500 had 70 all-time highs last year. So everyone that was staying out in the market were wrong 70 times over the course of just 1 year that the market pushed on to another. Now, then people might have got invested later on last year. And then what's happened now is the market's come off 10% as a correction, 15% in some places. And people have gone, oh no, this market isn't for me. Oh my God. And they pull the money out, right? Warren Buffett, you quoted him earlier. He said the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. And what does that mean? That just means the people that stick with things and the people that stick with it long-term, they're the ones that make the money. They're the ones that make the wealth. The people that are just in it for the short-term, panicking, selling, like you did when you first started, they're transferring their money to the patient, the people that can stick with.
Yes, you couldn't have said it better. Lots of questions coming in, so I'll just read a few of them to you. So one of them, is there any efforts to ramp up trust by local investors? I think maybe what the listener is asking, there've been a lot of, especially in the past few years, the NSE hasn't done so well. And I think a lot of investors have been banned in the process of trying to invest. How are you helping these investors to regain that trust in the markets?
Education. Most of the things that people are concerned about, with improving financial literacy, those fears go away. So like I said beforehand, when there's trust, when there's funds, when you're looking for bonds, every portfolio with the right bond, the right trust, fixed income product, I think is a great place for it in any portfolio. But again, depending on your risk profile, if you educate yourself, I'll never get the return in a trust or a fund like I did buying Tesla 4 years ago, like over 1,000% return in a company that's changing the world, a company that I'm proud to invest in because it's doing something on a social level and gives me over 1,000% return. These are the kind of investments that I love to be in. These are the kind of investments that I talk about on Twitter. And that for me is where I get excited and something that I want to do rather than the pension plan that are all over the world. In fact, if you ask the mass majority of people with a pension plan what their return is over the course of a year, they won't even be able to tell you. And the majority of people all over the world don't even know where their pensions are. They might have had 4 or 5 jobs. Some money might be in one place, another place, not even all cumulative into one. That's the mass majority of people. So again, with financial literacy, you start thinking, fund, the bonds and these local gilts, government bonds, etc. Great that they're in the portfolio. But if I've got trust in myself, I know that there's better products out there for me. I'm going to go there for a larger return. And these are the things that are going to get me to financial freedom later in life. Now, for me, wealth and financial freedom is that I want to get to a point, if I didn't like what I was doing, I wouldn't have to do it. I think that's part of the reason why we're all on this call, or why we all do the things that we do in investment, right? You're investing for your future because you want the freedom to just do what you want to do. You want to be able to be blessed, if you're blessed, and take care of your grandparents and your kids or whatever you need to do. And am I going to get by just working and investing? I don't think so. I don't think an only way to financial freedom. Am I going to get there by giving all my money to a pension plan that's going to get X small amount of percent and keep the majority of my money for themselves and fees or whatever it is? I don't think so. So it's getting control, take it into your hand, get the education. That's the key here.
Perfect. A question here. Are there plans to start options trading, especially in indexes?
Interesting. Watch this space. We are looking at this now. We're looking at it. Believe it or not, for us, there's so many things that we're working on. So many mega exciting things we're working on. It's about resource allocation. So we're definitely looking at futures and options. And as I said, we already have stock futures on the NSE. So feel free to come in and check that out with this for yourself. Options is a very sophisticated product in the US. Binary, for me personally, I would recommend to get to binary options. I don't think it's a product that I would personally invest in. So binary options I'd stay away from. And sophisticated options, we need to assess the market and understand the taste for it. If there is a taste for it, then of course we'll be happy to do so after some of these other mega exciting projects.
Another question is, do you run your own positions, or clients have direct access to the markets?
No. In Kenya, and this is important, the license that we have as a broker is an SDP license. So we back to back with our trades elsewhere. We don't run our own positions. What we do is we give our trading platform and our clients come and trade with it. And then we make our money on the transactional value of the trade. So no, we don't run our own positions. We are an execution-only brokerage.
Perfect. And maybe a listener here who may have missed, what's the difference between FXPesa and Sterling?
Those guys, partners of ours, they don't have the license or the technology to be able to offer FX and CFDs on the products that we do, right? They're a local stockbroking house. They offer our products to their underlying client.
Perfect answer. Kamau is wondering whether you have any assets under management.
No. We're an execution-only broker. Obviously, we have segregated funds and our own funds, of course, from an accounting perspective, but we don't take funds, Kenya, and trade on behalf of others. We're an execution-only broker. We give you the platform, we give you the liquidity, we give you the education, we give you everything you need, but ultimately you're the person that's pressing the button because you're the person that wants to go into that trade. We don't have a fund or assets under management for clients.
I see one more question here about looking at it. You are kind of a local player, let's say, who gives access to people to global markets as FXPesa. So then how do you get the clients, or at least the investors, to trust you instead of maybe going for other international companies, say interactive brokers or something like that? So maybe you can say how you position yourself, because I know one of the key things is you have local knowledge and global expertise. Could you explain that a bit more in terms of how you can gain the trust of the individuals and owners?
I mean,
especially
it's a great question. As I mentioned, we are a global broker, right? I was the CEO of FCA, a UK company in my career, or working in the US. And we've got hundreds of people all over the world that's offering our trading products in free revenue streams into our clients, our day-to-day clients, into institutional clients, into brokerage clients. We've got many clients all over the world of all different sizes. But what we believe, it's in our DNA, is that we want to be local. As I mentioned beforehand, it's so important to us that when we go in, there's 5 things that we have within our mission. And one of those things is we're creating this market, and we're market leaders, we're trailblazers, we're creating the market. But another one is we create local jobs. And it's something we're really proud of, that we create local jobs for people. And we want to be local. We want people to be able to phone up and us not be a faceless European company that you've just called that doesn't care about you, understand the culture. We believe there's so much to that in the relationship between us and all of the people, our clients, our family that we call them here. We make sure that we have that local knowledge. And I truly believe, how can you service people? How can you give them really good customer service if you're not kind of one of them? And that's why we do have a lot of offices. We've got 5 offices in Kenya. We're in Nigeria, in Africa as well. There's other African offices that's opening very soon, Sub-Saharan Africa. We've got offices in Colombia, in Florida. We're all over the world. So yeah, we try our hardest to lend that global knowledge, global expertise, people that have been in the industry for decades, the management team around me, but we want to stay local. And I love, when I come to Nairobi, wow, what an environment it is to work with 100 fantastic Kenyans that are giving everything to make a difference. And they give up so much stuff, and they're some of the most fantastic team members I've ever worked with. So why not? Why would I want to just hire English people, hire European people? I get the best out of Kenyans. That they give everything to me, and I try to give everything to them. So it makes sense for us to be local.
Another question is about NSE derivatives trading. You're a member there, so you're among some of the members. So how's the traction been, and what are the opportunities? Especially if you can explain also to the investors out there what's that derivative market is all about.
Yeah. So you can come to us and trade contracts on Safaricom and Equity Bank, etc. Leverage contracts and futures, right? So this gives you the opportunity to buy contracts and leverage position. If you think that Safaricom is going to be 50 or 25, you can take a position on that now in the local market. And in terms of, and also the index as well. So we've got a larger contract and a mini contract as well. So you can come in and take a position on where you think the NSE 25 is going to go. So we were the first people to do that in space. In terms of pickup, it's quite interesting, because I would say we're offering it so that everyone that comes to us, like, there is no need to go anywhere else. We're offering you everything that you need. But I fully understand that a lot of people hold their positions long term with, like I said earlier, banks. You're more likely to get divorced than trade bank in the UK. They're holding their position, some of them in NSE stocks with old stockbroking houses. It really did hit me. The data that came out recently, that there's, I think, 1.3 million accounts with the NSE, of which only 60,000 of them or so is active. That really hit me, that the market are really searching for global opportunities now. Our clients are no different. They are trading gold in volumes of multiples more than they're trading in local stock. Now that may change. Who knows? A lot of people are worried about the election in August. Will that give an opportunity or not? This is the point, right? You've got the choice. Things are always happening that brings opportunities to people when they're investing and when they're trading. So that's why we want to make sure the door's wide open to all of these asset classes. But for certain now, people much prefer to trade FX and gold than they do currently in NSE stocks.
Yes, we've exhausted Elliot's questions. The questions have been on point, but perhaps an extra question I had for myself is, if you look at investing and trading, a lot of times it's mostly biased towards men doing investing. And I know, like, you're very keen also on bridging that gap in terms of attracting more women towards doing investing and being in investment management positions and all. So perhaps you can speak to that and your initiatives around that.
Yeah, it's a great question. And again, this is something that's really, really important to us, FXPesa. So one of the other cornerstones of our mission is that we pride ourselves that we have a 50-50 male and female split, both in staff and in executive capacity. Always want to walk into a room in every meeting I go into, and I want to see diversity in any room that I walk into. And it makes us stronger because of it. I want to have people with different races. I want to have different sexes. I want to walk into that room and understand the different perspectives that they bring. And we pride ourselves, actually, exactly, and I ask this of HR every time I come to Kenya, it is exactly 50-50 female and male split at EGM and FXPesa. And by the way, I also hasten to add that some of the females we have working for us are the top performers as well. So they're definitely not shy to come in and hit it with the men, and they're fantastic at what they do. Now what we're doing is we're concentrating on female traders, females that are coming into investing for the first time. When we first came into Kenya in the first year, approximately 9% of our clients were female. That's now gone up to 20, I think 25%. Yeah. So it's gone from 9% to 25% now. So that shows a massive increase in the amount of females that are coming into the space, which again is fantastic to see. We know that that's going to keep going up and up and up. And why wouldn't it? Females, males, everyone, we're all seeking the same thing. We're seeking freedom. We're seeking security for our family. So of course that's going to go up. Female adoption is going to go up. And what we're also doing is a beta department at Equity Group. We've been looking at Kenyan female traders towards male traders, and they're actually consistently higher profit than males on average as well, particularly in the 25 to 35-year-old demographic. So it's all good things, right? We're here, it's females in the workplace, in finance, that we've made that happen, that's happening. And with that, we're getting more and more people that are coming into the space as well. And it's all good things. And it's a positive to see, and the trend's going to...
A few research pieces that show that women are more calmer in terms of making investment decisions and more rational and hold in investments a bit more long term. So I think would benefit from those kind of traits being more and more in our markets.
If you have a peek inside the Myers household, my wife is infinitely more patient with me than I've ever been patient with anyone else, right? So as we said, that's one of the cornerstones of any good investment is patient. And certainly I've got 3 sisters and my wife and my daughter, and they are a lot more patient than me and my sons. So maybe that's one of the reasons, on top of many other reasons. But again, it's a real positive to see. They're exceptionally good traders, exceptionally good staff, exceptionally good value to be around.
I agree. I don't see many more questions. At this point, I'll just ask Bernard to speak a little bit about maybe a call to action. Bernard?
Thank you so much. So as we get to the end of the session, kindly send an SMS with the word global to 40184. And the team here at FXPesa will take it from that point. So technically what you'll be able to see once you text the word global is an opportunity, number 1, to be contacted by one of our representatives. Number 2, an opportunity to open up a demo account with us. Number 3 will be to open a live account with us. And number 4, as we mentioned prior, we are very big on financial literacy, is to log into our workshop, to register for our workshop. So the call to action is send the word global to 40184. Thank you.
Perfect. Brian, now back to you. 2 questions. One is maybe reflecting on your investing life, and perhaps what can you tell people who are starting off in a career in investing? I know you shared a little bit before, but perhaps you can tell us a little bit more. And could you be specific on some of the books that have shaped your investing life and culture that you can maybe share to young people who are starting off? And then after Brian, Bernard has to tell me a little bit, because there is a story he told me about the hiring process at FXPesa. I know there are very many people in the audience who would want to work at FXPesa, and I know you have a very different view in terms of how you do the hiring process. So I wanted to hear Brian talk about it after you, Brian.
Okay.
So Brian, over to you.
Yeah. So the question was twofold, right? You understand what literature I've enjoyed, and also what it's like working in the industry. So on the literature part, there are a couple of books that was a real game changer for me. I can't read enough about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, the mentality that he takes toward trading is very, very similar to me. In fact, I've taken my mentality from Warren Buffett. A lot of the world's changing in that the young now want instant gratification, right? If they want a date, they want to swipe right. If they want food, they want it in 20 minutes. If they want an Amazon, whatever, some delivery, they're getting it the same day. And unfortunately, it's becoming the same. They expect these massive returns instantaneously. And maybe that's happened for the last couple of years, but a lot of people at the minute are realizing, okay, it's a little bit harder than I thought. And Warren Buffett is the guy that we've discussed tonight, talks about patience, talks about being in it for the long term, talks about having passion for it. He's been trading since 10 years old, and the man just loves it. He loves investing. He loves changing lives for his investors that invest with him, etc. So I've got nothing but respect for the man. A couple of the books that I really are the usual ones. You look at Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Whilst I disagree with a lot of the guy's current thoughts, that is a very good book. But the big one for me was Unshakable by Tony Robbins. The reason why is because he went, and I've mentioned before, be very, very careful of the people that you respect and you follow. For me, I'm looking for a track record. right? I'm looking for someone that's been there, has done it, has made their money, has created wealth, has led big companies. If they haven't actually done it themselves, why the hell would I listen to guys give me advice, right? So Tony Robbins, what he does in this book, Unshakable, is he goes and he spoke to Warren Buffett, big hedge fund managers, Ray Dalio, all of these guys, and they've all got different perspectives, but you can see the central thread that works for it. And you can also, he uses real data to show you what happens in bear markets and how quickly the markets come back and how to diversify and snapshots of portfolios of these guys. Warren Buffett's worth $100 billion. Of course, Warren Buffett is worth $100 billion and consistently profitable. And he tells the market, he has to tell the market what he's buying at all points. For me, I a substantial amount of Apple shares. And when his funds, it wasn't him, but it was a couple of guys in Berkshire, started to buy Apple, it made so much sense for me. So you get the benefit of easily being able to follow the trade ideas of people that you respect. Keep saying, I want to learn for myself, and I do learn for myself. But if you're going to learn from people and be able to follow recommendations, do it from people that are worth $100 billion. Do it for people that are consistently profitable. It makes sense. Not someone that's trying to sell you something or someone that's talking about an NFT that you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, but they tell you that it's going to go to the moon in 24 hours. So yeah, that's the working in the space. I only do it if you're very, very passionate about it. I would say that I'm very passionate about the job that I do. I love the job that I do. I get to meet so many people. I get to have really great conversation. I've always loved the job that I do, and I'm very, very fortunate that's the case. So if you love it, go for it. Realize that it's a process. Realize that there is a big world and there's a lot of opportunity there. I think the notion of coming in somewhere and working hard, working smart, of course, but working hard is still very much there. I think a lot of people are not understanding the fact that if you really want to get on in life, if you really want to go up and progress in your career, then of course it makes sense to work hard. Of course it makes sense to outperform other people. Of course it makes sense to put yourself on the map and show what you're capable of. I think if you've got passion and you can do that, you can go a long way in finance. And what I love about finance is that it's very quantitative. Like, of course it is. You can't hide from it. As a company, are you doing well? Are you educating people? Do they like your product? Thousands and thousands of Kenyans, are they coming to FXPesa? Yes, they are. Okay, we're doing something right. How do we do better? What else can we give to it's very quantitative. And I love that about finance, which is different to a lot of professions. So yeah, so if you're motivated by that, you're passionate, and if you work hard, finance might be a career for you.
Bernard, tell me about the hiring process, at least for someone who is interested in working at FXPesa.
Okay, thank you for that. So here at FXPesa, we have an impartial hiring process. By this, we give equal chances. And for you to be able to connect with us, you can send an email to recruitment@egmsecurities.com, or even you'd be able to see our posts that we do periodically on our pages. That's FXPesa, and also on our EGM pages. It's a very impartial process.
In the sense of like people from non-finance backgrounds can come and work with you, right? Because you told me a story about it yesterday, which you can tell people a little bit. I think it's inspiring in the sense of like you're hiring not just strictly finance people, but people who also have an interest in markets, but they also just self-driven enough to want to learn.
Okay, a very, very wonderful point. So currently we have different departments, from onboarding, from customer service, from sales, to also finance. So technically, to be a part or a team member in this great environment, it's all about your desire to actually want to change investments in Kenya. I'll give an example of myself. So for me, it's all about what really drives me from the time I wake up. So from the minute I wake up, the reason I get out of bed is because I want or aim to achieve or see a change in the investment space and finance space in Kenya. So it's all about the interest that you show. And for FXPesa, you'll have that opportunity once you see our posts that we'll do periodically.
And the demo account, what have you seen in terms of people signing up for it? How does it look like? And maybe you can give a few details for people who are interested in signing up. with the demo.
Okay. It's very important when you're starting your journey, especially your trading journey, that you invest in products you understand. So by this, we give you an environment where you're able to conduct your trades or your initial trades in a safe space where we give you a $10,000 amount, and you can be able to get into trades, execute trades, so that once you're coming into your real account, you're able to actually execute your orders in a manner that you understand. So we do not want you as green as possible getting into the live atmosphere. So we will first get you on a demo account. You'll get to see the different assets that we have, the different asset classes, and you can see what really works for you. An example, what works for me is assets such as US stocks. So I will tend to get on my platform at around 4:30 when the US market is open. So you're able to have this environment in this demo account. Again, you can send the word global to 40184 and get to sign up for a demo account. If you have knowledge about this market, get yourself a live account. However, the demo account will give you the right feel of how to execute and how the market really is.
Great. At this point now, I'll give you the chance to give closing thoughts. Maybe I'll start with Bernard and then Brian can conclude for us. Bernard?
Okay, thank you. So from my end, I just want to say something my grandfather always told me, that if you think knowledge is expensive, try ignorance. So I believe we've had a very detailed discussion about this particular market, and this is the time, especially as we head into the electioneering period, where you'd want to hedge your positions or to also diversify your investment. So from my end, knowledge is the way to go, and thank you for giving us this plan.
Brian, now you can conclude for us and give us your closing thoughts.
Well, yeah, guys, thank you. And thanks for giving up your time and listening. Thank you if you're a client of ours. Thank you so much. I hope we're doing you proud. What I would say, I think everyone understands that we're in a moment of time very, very special. We all are, particularly all of us that are working on this in Kenya. We're making a real change. There's a real difference. People are active. They're interested. They're seeking out education. There's choice for people to have a lot more around what their investing needs. So we're at a point in time that's exceptionally exciting. Stick with it. Stick with it. Don't give up. Don't give up. The only way you're not going to get there is if you give up. So stick with it. I hope you follow me on Twitter. I'll continue to keep on banging the drum because I'm so passionate about this. Thank you so much to any of my team that's on this call. I see you. I appreciate you. I always appreciate you. So, yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today again for another Twitter Spaces. I hope you've learned a lot. Do follow FXPesa. Brian is very active on Twitter also. Do follow them. If you have any questions, you can always ask. We'll always forward to them. And again, just start investing. Start with a demo account. It's really easy. Then you can also ease your way into investing. But don't start tomorrow. Start today in terms of saving and learning and investing. And start your journey today and perhaps learn more as you continue trading. Thank you so much, FXPesa, for partnering with us on this. We hope this is the beginning of more partnerships. All right. Thank you so much.